Okay, students, so now this session we're going to discuss about how to form a question out of the simple past form of a sentence. So we call it let's ask question. We already have discussed how to convert present simple into past simple. Now this session we're going to discuss how to form a question out of a present simple sentence. Now, uh, before we move on to that session, let me just remind you very briefly types of questions, because you really need to know this uh, before we form any question. Now, we're talking about the types of question. There are two types of questions. One is yes no. We call it yes no question, because these questions actually receives the answer either in yes or in no. So that's why we call it yes no question. This is actually what we're going to focus right now. So, and the second part is the WH question. Now, the WH question is the question which actually seek for specific information. That is, that's what we call WH question. Or this is also called informative questions, because these actually ask for information. And in terms of WH questions, we use the question words that starts with WH, like what, where, how, who, when, which, all those question words that starts with WH. Okay, now let's look at the be verb and the main verb, because when you're forming a question, the verb actually plays a very important role. Now, so we really need to understand these things, because we already finished the present simple, and we already finished how to change present simple into past simple. Now, the be verb of present simple is am, is, or are. But when you convert it into past simple, the past version of am or is was, and the past version of are is where. You already know it. Just a quick reminder. Now, look at these subjects, what are used on the regular basis in the sentence. I, he, she, it, or any singular noun. They are followed by the was, which is the past form of am or is. And the other subjects like you, they, we, or any plural noun, they are followed by where. So this is just for your understanding. I know you already know it. Just a quick reminder. And another form of verb is called the main verb. And the main verbs, there are regular verbs, irregular verbs. We are not going to focus on that thing here, because we are just going to discuss about the forming question. Just remember, in case you don't have be verb in the sentence, then we're going to need the past form of do or does, which is did. So save this in your mind, that when you have the be verb in the sentence, the past form of be verb, which is was and where, or if you don't have the be verb in the sentence, then we're going to need to use did. Okay, now here are two examples, one with the be verb and another with the main verb. Now see, he was at the school, so we have the was, be verb, and then we have he studied in this school, so this is actually not the be verb. So these are two examples. I'm going to show you how to form questions when you have be verb and when you don't have a be verb in a sentence. Now, so let's ask yes no question with be verb. So these two sentences, he was at the school, they were at the school. Now, forming a yes no questions having be verb in the sentence is really, really easy, and the only thing you have to do is put the be verb at the very beginning of the sentence and keep the rest of the sentences, rest of the words as it is. Simple as that. So if we put was here, so it was he at the school, with a question mark. Yes, he was at the school. That's the very simple form of sentence, and it's really, really easy. Just be careful, that's it. Now, they were at the school. Follow the same pattern, put the be verb first. So the be verb is actually where, so put it at the very beginning of the sentence and keep the rest of the words as it is. So where are they at the school? Question mark. Simple as that. Okay, now you may ask a question that why there is a gap between the words is actually just for your understanding that we have taken out the was from here and replaced it at the very beginning of the sentence to form the question. So, but when you're writing, don't keep the space here, just the regular space, and push it forward with sentence to form a sentence like this. So this is just for your understanding that we have taken out the was and put it down here. Okay, now this is very simple to have it with a be verb. Now, what if we don't have a be verb? Remember the previous slide we discussed that we're going to need did to form a yes or question when we don't have a be verb in the sentence. Now, he studied in this school, we went to play football. Now, these are the two verbs which is not actually a verb to be. Now, this is also very easy. There are two major concerns you have to keep in mind. The first concern is we're going to use did at the very beginning of the sentence, and we're going to keep the rest of the words as it is. That's the first thing. Use did at the very beginning of the sentence and keep the rest of the sentence as it is. That is number one. What is number two? When you're using did to form a question, we cannot keep the verb form into past. We're going to change it into very simple form, the original form of the verb. So the present form of studied is actually studied. So this is the sentence that comes here. So we put did at the very beginning of the sentence and keeping the whole sentence as it is. He studied in this school. The only change we did, because we used did, as I said earlier, we changed the very past form of this verb into present. That's the second thing you have to do. Use did at the very beginning of the sentence, keep the sentence as it is, and change the past form of the verb into simple form of it. So let's practice with this thing. He went to play football. Now, he went to play football. The present form of went is go. And so we're going to use did at the very beginning. So did he go to play football? So that's as simple as that. Okay, now the second type of question was actually the WH question, as I said. But to form a WH question, there are certain conditions, but you really need these forms of sentences. How to form yes/no questions. And if you understand this thing clearly, it is really, really easy to form a WH question. And to form a WH questions, we're going to need all these words that is called the question words or the WH question words. This is what, where, when, what time, why, which, who, and how. But I'm not going to discuss this thing at this session, but we're going to do it in the next session. First, let's do some practice and see if you have really understood how to form the yes/no question. Once it is clear, once you understand it properly, then we're going to need to use the WH words, the question words to form WH questions. So now, it's time to have some activity. I'm going to give you some exercises and the very present simple form of sentences, and you have to form yes/no questions out of this. So, best of luck, go for it.